Hi guys, it's Rampant FM, and today I'm joined with Mozza Gaming. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. How's you?
Good. So Mozza, just for the benefit of the guys that might not know you, I think the majority of them who see this video will. We're just going to start with obviously going through some of your content and what you do on various platforms. Obviously, to start with, you are a Twitch streamer. Do you prefer Twitch to YouTube? Is there a reason for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I gave both of them a go.
Uh-huh.
But Twitch is just dead easy to use, so I kind of fell into it just because it was nice and easy for. Like I didn't need to worry about any settings or whatever, and the OBS, the streaming software I use just links right into it.
That's brilliant, yeah. I'm always interested in that because obviously I do YouTube and there's others that obviously do Twitch. I always quite kind of like wonder about that, what sort of drives one person to do another sort of thing.
hmm
Your next big thing, obviously, you're a modder, FM database. So you've obviously had 20 odd thousand downloads of your Scottish Lower League pyramid. I think you've been doing it for a couple of years now. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, yeah. Been going for I think it's 3 or 4 years now. And it's gone pretty well. It's pretty amazing how many people download it and message me about it. So it's nice.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I started my YouTube channel as an FME guide, obviously, which
hmm
football manager editor guide, and I was always into sort of modding from the earlier FMs, probably about 10 years ago now. Is there any reason why you sort of got into it, or were you sort of drawn to that part, or was it just obviously you're interested in the lower leagues and whatnot?
Yeah, basically, I mean, I kind of started doing it because I wanted to do it myself.
Yep.
So I wanted games in the lower leagues that weren't there, and just eventually I got to the point I thought, well, I might as well share it out because I'd seen other people asking in forums for it.
Yep.
Like back in the day when it used to all be the community forum and so on, people used to go on rather than Twitter and the like. So yeah, I started sharing it about. It got a bit of traction, and well, like you say, kind of 20,000 downloads now. Obviously, there's people interested in them as well.
Certainly, I mean, it was kind of similar to myself why I started doing sort of editing sort of guide videos. Obviously, just helping people, and as you say, people are obviously asking about that. They want that sort of content unlocked, but they are not
hmm
necessarily sure how to do it themselves. Um, the obviously you do podcasts.
Yep.
I'm not obviously a pro at them. This is the first time doing one. The Zone Mister co-presenter, I believe. How's that
Mhm.
going, mate?
It's going good. It's just, to be honest with you, it just started as a chance for a few of us to vent about FM,
Yeah.
and there's plenty to vent about. But it's got to the point now where we're kind of tackling. We started at the very start of taking over a team day one in a save, and it's gone kind of pretty much chronologically all the way through it. So. It's nice to like you pick up different things from different people as well. So
Yep.
I've actually changed a bit of the way I play the game because of it. I'm just learning new things and different tips and tricks. So yeah, it's been pretty good, and you can never beat a chance to just talk FM with people as well.
Oh, that's yeah, exactly right. I mean, most of my channel and most of the people that watch me are obviously really into FM, and I always have sort of comments about, oh, you should play this, you should do that, you should do that, and
hmm
I think other people are the same. I'm kind of been fortunate with my save that I've kind of sort of dominated up until now. So I've not really needed too much advice, but there is other guys who are struggling that I always give my advice to, and they sort of give me their advice about certain things. But it's good. That's what I like about the FM community. Obviously, everyone trying to help each other, support each other, and whatnot. Next thing, obviously, you're a blogger with the BSC Glasgow, which I believe is a Lowland team.
hmm
You're the I think is it you're the official esports partner, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, just any games and any online stuff, I'll do for them. So it started off just this year with doing an FM save, using my database. So basically, the way we did it was I took the real life squad that they had, and the challenge was to try and beat their manager Swifty and what he did in real life. And I did exactly the same as what he did. So my database was obviously all right. But we're into season two now, and I'll keep going. I'll finish season two. And then when the new game comes out, I'll start afresh probably.
Brilliant. Did you actually reach out with the club, or did they reach out? Did you reach out to them? How does that sort of work? Just for anyone that sort of wants to be involved at that sort of level with clubs and whatnot.
Yeah. Basically, well, they reached out to me because when I was doing this year's database, I was doing the real squads for the Lowland League as well. So I was in touch with all the clubs to get a bit of information.
Yep.
And BSC were the club that were right, kind of getting back in touch and got a bit of banter with their social media guy,
Okay.
Michael.
That's
And
fantastic. Yep.
yeah, he basically ended up just saying, "Do you fancy doing something?" and seen what happens, and it's picked up. It's done pretty well. So, but yeah, if anyone's actually looking to get involved with a team, I've answered a couple of questions recently from people asking about it. I'm always kind of happy for messages on Twitter or whatever. But
Brilliant.
the main thing that I'd recommend is if you're approaching a club, you're basically offering them free advertising.
Yep.
So as long as you're like a pretty reliable person, pretty trustworthy, and give them an example of the content you'll do. So if it's going to be a blog, write an example blog, or a video, give them just a kind of intro YouTube video or something.
Yep.
They'd be mad to turn it down if you put yourself across right. So you might as well ask. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep. Simple as, mate. That's great advice. You're obviously a part of the Scottish FM research team as well. How did you
Yeah,
get involved
that's
with
right.
that? Is that Stuart Milne, I think's the head researcher?
Yeah. And that again came through me just doing my own database. Basically this year when it came out, and it got a great reaction for people like the Lowland League themselves and the Highland League, and all the clubs were retweeting me, and I did the graphics as well, the kits for them, so
Yep.
that kind of helped.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I got a message off him basically saying, "Well, do you fancy coming in and joining the research team?" Well, I'd messaged him a couple of years back, and I don't think it was really that big a focus for them.
Yep.
But especially now with all the junior teams coming in,
Yep.
going forward, it's going to be a much bigger focus, and then hopefully we'll actually get the Highland and Lowland in officially in future years.
That's brilliant. It's obviously great testament to your work, mate. Obviously, for all the sort of lower league teams that you've actually got them pretty much in the game now. Although they're not kind of unlocked as much as we'd want, but at least their players and everything will be in the game because of essentially your work. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not just me writing off it, it's the people that have downloaded it.
Yep.
And that's the reason I've looked at it, because I've obviously seen, well, there's thousands and thousands of people that are interested
Yep.
in it, so why
Yeah.
don't we do it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it doesn't cost them anything apart from getting me a free copy of the game for my work. So
That's good.
it makes sense all round, to be honest with you.
So the final thing, obviously, you are one of the FM Absolutes founders. I believe you've got a competition coming up. I think you've filled all your places now, but is it going to be kind of like the Creators Cup that we had previously?
A wee bit, yeah. And we've given it a different twist. So the Creators Cup was only for YouTubers and streamers
Yep.
that had, well, obviously a certain kind of amount of following and so on. And I just scraped in because I'd only just started streaming at that point.
Yep.
But this one's open to everyone, so that's why it's filled up so quickly, I think. It's only taken us 2 days to get 32 people jumping in. But it's just the first time. We'll probably end up doing probably about 2 competitions, maybe even 3 every year. This is a trial run to make sure it all works right. And what we're doing is kind of World Cup style, so groups of 4 into quarterfinals, semi-finals, all the way. But yeah, all you need to jump in is that you can play an online match. You don't need to be a creator or anything like that. So it'll be interesting because there's a good mix. Like you've got all the founders, the kind of biggest streamer we've got in the group's Regista,
Right.
who's got quite a decent following, all the way down to, well, myself. I'm probably the smallest because I only started in kind of February, March. But then people know me through the database and the blogs and such like. And
Yep,
we've got other
yep.
people jumping in as well that you'll be aware of. There's a few names kicking about, so it'll be good fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a success for you guys. I would like to be involved maybe in the future myself, but I'm not. I don't feel I'm quite ready there in terms of my actual equipment. I've had issues with FM a lot this year with crashes and whatnot. I don't know if it's more to do with either my recording or my laptop. My laptop's certainly good enough, but certainly in the future, I think once I get better equipment, I'll certainly hopefully teach you guys a lesson in FM.
That wouldn't be too hard. I'm not that great.
So speaking of the World Cup, obviously it's one of the biggest football events that's happening right now. Is there any teams that you've been impressed by, or who do you think is going to win it?
There's not been one out and out standout team, has there?
No,
It's been a
I would
weird
agree.
one.
I would agree.
But
Yeah.
then I think that's been why it's such a good World Cup to watch, because you don't really know what's going to happen. Like you're looking at, on paper, France are probably the best team left.
Yep.
And when they turned it on against Argentina, they were just phenomenal. Like Mbappe up front, just his pace, and he looked brilliant. But then tonight's game, Belgium, when they turned it on, were really, really good as well. Lukaku was playing like a man possessed. He was unbelievable. And De Bruyne's goal, I don't know if you've got a chance to see it because you're watching the Gers game tonight.
Yep.
De Bruyne's goal is phenomenal if you get a chance to watch it.
I'll check it out. I did hear it was pretty good from the missus. She was keeping me reported, so keeping me updated rather.
But it's just funny the way it's shaked out though, because England are never going to have a better chance of getting to a final.
Well, speaking of England, obviously it's sort of tough for some of our fellow countries. Not so much me, but I've been seeing a lot of the videos that's coming home, which is a bit silly because obviously everyone knows that football was invented in Scotland.
Aye, obviously.
No, in all seriousness, do you think England can win it? Is it a possibility or?
It's a definite possibility. I can't see them doing it, to be honest with you.
No.
But I was having this chat the other day. So I was actually talking about it to one of the guys the other day in the Discord. Basically, I think this is the first England team that there's been for years and years that I've not had a problem with, because you always had a John Terry or an Ashley Cole or somebody that was there to despise and there was a reason to hate them. And then when you combine that with the media, because the media is a big problem when they get carried away.
Yep.
It was just easy to not want them to win. But I think this year I really like Gareth Southgate, and I really like the way he's gone about his work.
I've been hearing that more and more from Scottish people as well. Southgate, there's something likeable about him as a manager. Obviously, I'm kind of a bit weird with the England team anyway because I'm a Tottenham fan, so I kind of like seeing my club's players doing well. So for me to not want Harry Kane or Eric Dyer or the five guys in the England team not to do well, it would be very difficult for me to do that because I support them practically week in week out. But yeah, the something about Southgate, I mean, I really do sort of see him as someone that there's something likeable about there. I really don't know how to put my finger on it, but there is something definitely there about him that you feel like you have to like him, or
I think it's because he was thrown into a tough situation and he just seems to be a normal guy, doesn't he? He's not. There's no arrogance about him. He's just pretty down to earth. He seems the kind of guy that would just go and have a pint. There's no. It's not like Allardyce. He was easy enough to hate because he thought he was a big man, basically. But I think that's why they're obviously doing so well, and the players are pretty likeable as well. There's not a kind of total so-and-so amongst them. Even when you see like Harry Maguire, I really like him just as a kind of old school, no nonsense centre back. But he's actually a lot better than that as well.
Well, it was like sort of Raheem Sterling. Obviously, we're talking about the media. It's like the media sort of turned on him for his tattoo about the gun and stuff. I felt really sorry for the guy, having explained it. Whereas in the past, people might have sided with the media, sort of bringing the England team down. I thought, I think that's bang out order. He actually explained the thing about his dad getting shot or whatever, and I thought it was a wee bit out of order from the media to bring that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously the big thing in the World Cup, it's obviously happened before the World Cup, but VAR, what are your thoughts on it? Any
controversial opinion? I really like it.
Funny enough, I do as well, mate. A lot of people disagreed with me. I'm a big fan of Serie A. I don't know if you actually know that. My Italian team is Atalanta. I really just love them. I've liked them for a few years. I actually stemmed from FM, to be honest. Funny enough, it really did. I got really into. I've always sort of liked Italian football throughout the years. On Channel 4 when it was on, but Atalanta seemed to be sort of the team that I've sort of gravitated, especially last season when they were playing in the Europa League. For whatever reason, apart from, I think there was a game with Roma last season where it was really sort of controversial. I think they were disallowed 2 goals, if I believe, or something like that. Other than that, I mean, there was no complaints week in, week out. Speaking of the World Cup, obviously, Cancelo, the game against Iran, Portugal, there's instances of there's certain things that could be seen as subjective, like that handball, some people would have gave it, others wouldn't. So I think there's always going to be a sort of 50-50 even with VAR.
There has to be.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think that can really be blamed on VAR. I think that's just more of a tool to be used rather than an actual thing that, at the end of the day, the refs are the ones that make the decisions still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly that. You need to remember that it's still a referee looking at the video screen and saying if it's a penalty or not.
Yep.
So it's still a referee's decision. So you might as well whinge at them if they're getting it wrong, but not at the VAR system itself.
Yep, definitely, mate. So we're obviously talking about the World Cup. Our country is not in it. Yeah, again, I mean, we were so close. 20 years, I've still got that top from '98. I don't think it fits me now, mate. Like, so when do you think we'll next qualify for a major tournament?
I think it's a while away still.
Really,
to be honest with you. Do you know our squad's looking decent just now? Is kind of our first team. It's defence. It's the problem. Centre back specifically.
Yeah.
Because Charlie Mulgrew's our main man just now. He's only got a year left, maybe.
Yep.
Tops. So by the time we actually get fully into a qualifying campaign, you're kind of hoping that Liam Lindsay or somebody else like that properly steps up. Berra again's another one that's only maybe got a year or two left. All right.
I think Liam Lindsay is probably one of the future centre backs for Scotland. He's brilliant. I think he's still playing for Barnsley. I think he's
he's getting a game.
He's even before he actually moved. When he was playing for Partick, he looked fantastic. I think it was a really good pickup from Barnsley. We did actually, I think Spurs played them last season in, I can't remember what competition. I don't think it was the FA Cup, but like the League Cup or something. And Liam Lindsay was playing. He was brilliant. Even up against a team like Spurs, he was really good. So, do you know much about the UEFA Nations League? Does that give us?
I had to write an article about it. Funnily enough,
Did you?
That was the only reason I learnt about it.
Do you think that gives teams like Scotland a better chance of qualifying for, say, the European Championships, or do you think we're still kind of far away?
It's given us a cracking chance because we've only just managed to squeeze into a bottom. It's like A, B, C, and D, so you're splitting into one of the four, and we've just squeezed into C. We almost made it into B, and we'd have been one of the worst teams in the B section. So when you look at the other teams in there, I mean, you're looking at the likes of Israel, are along with us the biggest teams there. They're teams we should have the beating of, and it just comes down to, are we going to go and play one up front against them, or are we actually going to play and try to win? And I think there's no excuse when you're playing teams at that level. You've just got to go and try and win it to give yourself a shot, you know?
Completely agree. I think we are in Group C1 from my notes. We have Israel and Albania, and I believe there might be other teams that have travel issues included in the group, so we might have, I think it was Kazakhstan was one of them, or I can't remember if that is actually our set group. There's countries that have not actually been added to groups yet because of the travel arrangements. They don't know if they can travel that far, so they might actually be added.
I think they're saying that we are going to stick as a 3 from what they were what they were saying. They would get added to the other groups, I think. But it's basically you get through there and then you would get into the playoff sections. So we could face anyone at that point. Could even be Kazakhstan. So, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it very sort of interesting. I think it's an interesting concept. Obviously, it sort of defeats the need for international friendlies, so it makes them a bit more important. So that kind of helps us out a wee bit. I just really hope that we can beat Israel and Albania. You've got to, if we can. I don't think we deserve to be in the European Championships.
I mean, the downside of it is, like, are you going to get crowds at Hampden for them?
Yeah.
Are folk really going to be that interested in it? Especially if, like, say we lose the first game to Albania, it's just going to die a death, isn't it? So
there's that.
They'll be trying to charge about 30 quid a ticket because they're saying it's competitive as well, so that's the downside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too fond of Hampden anyway. I've been to Hampden a few times and I don't enjoy it for football. Certainly, I think it's just the way it is, obviously, with the sort of track around the pitch. I've never enjoyed them sort of stadiums. I like stadiums kind of like Tannadice and Tynecastle, Ibrox sort of thing that are kind of near the pitch. You kind of feel the atmosphere more. I'm not saying there's not an atmosphere.
I totally agree.
I'm not saying there's not an atmosphere at Hampden. It's just it feels kind of, and as you say, the prices are just silly, you know.
Like, don't get me wrong. when it's full and when it's bouncing, it's got a good atmosphere, but it's too far away from the
Yep.
pitch, like you say. They wasted a lot of money on it.
Yep.
Because what they should have done was lowering the pitch and getting more seats right up to it,
Yep.
and then you'd have had a proper cauldron there. But it's pretty soulless. I think that's the problem with it. It's just a kind of bowl that it just doesn't inspire you, does it?
No, not at all. I mean, there was talks. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but there was talks of the Scottish national team actually moving away from Hampden to. I heard Murrayfield. I mean, I don't know if that would be a permanent solution. Obviously, I actually like Murrayfield for a stadium, which is weird because it goes against what was said about the pitch and everything. But for some reason, Murrayfield. I mean, I've actually been there for football. My stepdad's a Hearts fan, so I had to go with him a few times to see them. Yeah, but for some reason, even Murrayfield seems to have a bit, as you said, there's soul to that stadium. There's no soul at Hampden. It just feels like empty. It's a strange one. It really is.
Yeah, I think it probably helps with Murrayfield that like the stands are a wee bit steeper and they're pretty square, so they're right on top of the pitch.
Yep.
And even though the pitch is smaller, it still feels like you're right up there.
Yep.
Hampden's too far away from it. It's a bit of a walk for where the managers are up to the pitch. So it's just one of those stadiums, you know.
Yep. So obviously we're talking about the chances to qualify when we think we'll qualify. Blah blah blah. Future of Scottish football. Is there any sort of players that you think will make it to the big time? I'm obviously not talking about Andy Robertson, who's arguably there playing for Liverpool. Kieran Tierney, he's obviously there as well. I'm talking about the sort of younger guys. I've got a few in mind. For example, I really like. I think Billy Gilmore's got a big future ahead of him.
Massive.
Mikey Johnson of Celtic, he had a fantastic Toulon tournament. I thought he was class. Lewis Morgan of Celtic and Glenn Middleton, who actually was phenomenal when he came on for Rangers tonight. Is there anyone that you feel that can be the next sort of star for Scotland that can sort of be a bit better than the current generation?
I think you've picked out most of the names there. The only other one that I'd throw in would be Harry Cochrane at Hearts.
Harry Cochrane, that's.
He's just great on the ball, and I know he's a wee kind of stick thin guy. I know he's only 16, but if he kind of grows out and he fills out and gets big and strong, he's got a great chance.
Yep.
A really good chance of being a cracking player. We don't lack kind of young prospects. It's just they don't really always get there a lot of the time.
Yep.
They find the bevy at 18 and that kind of puts spade to anything. Well, you look at Andy Robertson. He's a guy who doesn't drink during the season.
Yep.
And look where it's got him to, you know. So you just need a bit of discipline. Something that most players here don't seem to have.
Well, yeah, I think it's a part of the sort of culture, I guess, as well. You know.
That's it.
I mean, the thing that obviously I mentioned, free old firm players. Mikey Johnson, I don't think he'll get much of a chance for Celtic, so I'm really hoping he either gets loaned out or Lewis Morgan, because they've signed that Edward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Brilliant signing from Celtic, by the way. I really hope Lewis Morgan gets a chance, but again, it's a difficult one. I really hope it doesn't go back to where Rangers and Celtic are buying all the youth prospects and don't do anything with them. You know what I mean?
Aye, definitely. Well, I don't understand why Lewis Morgan hasn't been sent back to St Mirren for the season.
Exactly my thoughts, because I don't know if he'll get much of a game at Celtic this season, which would worry me for his progress, because he was just brilliant for the Scotland under-21s and St Mirren last season.
But I mean, you look at that team, because they've got Ryan Christie back now for Aberdeen, who's played there 2 seasons and he's played out his skin. So the two of them aren't going to play at the same time. They have lost Armstrong, right enough, but even the likes of Johnny Hayes went there and didn't get a game.
Yeah.
Like, he just sat about doing nothing. So you'd think at least Lewis Morgan. I think Christie's got to stay at Celtic this year to see if he breaks through, and if not, he just needs to move on, basically. But I think Morgan will end up going out on loan maybe kind of January onwards. If he doesn't break through anyway. It's an awkward one. Like, it's quite interesting the way Rangers are going though, because they put Hardy back out to Livingston, and I think he's got a chance of being a decent player. I don't know if he'll make Rangers standard, but they've obviously given him a year's contract to say prove it in the Premier League, and we'll see what happens from there. I think I'm quite a fan of that. I like the guys going out and playing Championship and Premiership football for a season,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to see
definitely.
how it develops them.
I mean, there's another guy actually who I'm quite fond of, and not only for my FM series. He actually came on to tonight against Bury and scored. Zach Rudden. I think he is going to be
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Rangers don't particularly have a lot up, in the sort of strike department other than Morelos. I think Herrera is actually probably going to be sort of going out. So I would love to see Zach Rudden get a chance as well. I think he would be brilliant for Rangers. I really like him. He's got a bit of a Ali McCoy sort of vibe to him.
Okay.
He's got a really decent build for a sort of striker. I'm just in love with the guy. He scored a hat trick against Hearts in our first SPL game for my Cow and Beef team the other day, so I was quite happy. So we'll obviously go into a bit of the preview of this season. Do you expect Celtic to be dominant again? What are your thoughts?
Not as dominant, I don't think. I think some of the signings that Gerrard's made have been very, very decent.
Yep.
Even though it's clearly not Gerrard, it's Alan in the background that's giving him a hand in picking out targets and so
Yep.
on. But I think Rangers have got a right chance of maybe not winning the league, but really pushing Celtic this year. And they really should be aiming for a cup at the very minimum. Even if it is a League Cup, when you obviously skip the group stage because you're in Europe and just jump right in and go from there. But I think I'm not too impressed with Aberdeen. I think they're pretty stagnant just now. They had a real chance to kick on and have not done it.
No.
And I don't think they will until the stadium comes along, because that's where all their effort's going just now. They've only just started building it. I noticed the other day they broke ground, so that'll be a fair amount of money kind of taken away from them for now. Hibs have got a good chance of kicking on,
Hibs,
actually.
yeah.
And they've made some really good signings. They've just got Stephen Mallon today, and Canberry coming in on permanent.
Was
A really good signing.
Was Stevie Mallon a permanent signing?
Yeah, Stevie Mallon's a permanent.
Do you think that means
So,
John McGinn's off to Celtic, or?
I think it's a matter of time anyway.
Yep.
He'll be off just now, or he'll be off in January. And if he waits till January, he might get a Premiership team down south rather than Celtic. But he's the kind of guy I think it would go to Celtic and learn off Scott Brown for a year, take his spot, and just keep it going.
He's obviously got family ties with Celtic, and Stevie Mallon, I didn't actually know that. That's a fantastic capture for Hibs.
That's a brilliant signing.
I didn't actually know that. What a signing, to be honest. I think under Neil Lennon, as much as I'm not too fond of the guy with some of his antics and stuff, he's done a brilliant job at Hibs. He really has. Obviously, so we've sort of discussed Celtic and Rangers. Are there any other teams that you feel might make an impact? Obviously, Livingston, they lost their manager. They've now got Kenny Miller as their player manager. Do you think they can survive the SPL, become...
I think it'll be a struggle for them. But then again, you've always got Hamilton, and Hamilton always stay around the bottom till the very last minute.
Yep.
So they'll have a chance to stay up if they'll definitely be bottom six. I think I'm pretty safe in saying that. But if they can win the games against teams around them, they've always got a shot of staying up. And Kenny's actually a really cracking guy to have in their playing squad for a team at that level. Because if he's playing up with Hardy and giving him a bit of guidance, they've got guys that can put the ball in the net.
Yep.
And they're actually a pretty solid team if they've kept most of the squad.
Yep.
So they've got a shot. I mean, St Mirren coming up as well. I think they've got a decent chance of getting up towards the top six actually. Although when you look at it, if you're putting Hibs in there, Kelly and Aberdeen, there's maybe only one other spot up for grabs.
For me,
a tough one.
For me, Kelly are going to be up there under Steve Clark. I think he's done a fantastic job as well. I'm not too sure about Hearts. I don't know if they'll stick with Levine, if he'll go back to his sort of director role. Other than that, I mean, that surprised me a wee bit last season. Well, obviously, we had two SPL clubs going down to the Championship. So, I mean, I don't think there's a massive gap between Championship clubs and the bottom SPL clubs.
No, there definitely isn't.
And for me, obviously, we'll talk a wee bit more towards the end. But I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But obviously, I'll ask you something. What are your thoughts on because it's a talking point, obviously I don't want to get too political and whatnot, but what do you think about the Mandarin kit that, as a neutral, that Rangers sort of brought out? Do you think it's offensive, or is it?
it's obviously not offensive.
Yep.
It's nonsense to say it's
Yeah.
offensive, but there's obviously a reason they've done it as well, and they're being very clever because they're going to get money off
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
you've got to be sensible about it and stick in the middle. You know, it's clearly been made to make some cash, and fair play, kids. They want to get the budgets up. It's also been made to wind up Celtic.
Yeah. I mean,
into the bargain.
well. To be honest, I mean, obviously the last one brought out in 2003 was like a mega popular shirt.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it had that sort of undertone of winding up Celtic, but then Celtic actually brought out their away top, and I don't think anyone finds it offensive, but to me that actually looked a bit like a Northern Irish top. It was very peculiar. Have you seen their new away top with the sort of...
Yeah, it's got the kind of Celtic cross as a
Yeah.
badge as well. It's pretty unusual, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I think we'll put it this way: if the Rangers had brought out a kit with, say, a white kit with an orange sash on it, then you could have said, right, okay, come on. But it's an orange kit.
Yeah.
It's a third kit. It's barely going to get worn.
No.
It's going to make them a bit of money. What's the harm?
That's
And-
exactly why it's been made. I think Hummel were smart enough to be like, let's make money. Let's bring out of a Mandarin / orange kit.
And I think people reading into it are reading too far into
Yep.
it. They're trying to make a story out of it. But we know why they've done it.
I
Let's be
was
honest.
just interested because I like, obviously I wouldn't say I'm too biased because I can appreciate both sides of the argument sort of thing, but obviously I'm a Rangers fan, so it's always interesting to know what other people like think about certain things that the club do, because obviously over the years sort of Rangers had a bit of a bad press about pretty much everything they've done. So we'll talk about the Championship. Obviously, for me, I think there's one club that really needs to sort of get their act together, and that's Dundee United. They have to come up this year, or I think it's looking sort of doom and gloom for them. Obviously, I think their job's a wee bit harder this season with Partick and Ross County being in their league. What are your thoughts on Dundee United? Mismanagement or...
Well, first of all, the Championship looks a brilliant league again this year. It always looks a really tough, really, really good league to be in. You've also got Inverness in there, bear in mind.
Sorry, I never mentioned
who
them.
will be looking to bounce back. But we don't really know if they're going to be just mid-table again, and even Falkirk. There's another team that might be mid-table or bounce on. Pretty much any team out of 8 or 9 could get a playoff spot in that league, which is brilliant. But yeah, I think I'm not convinced with Csaba Laszlo when it comes to United.
No.
It just seemed a weird appointment when he got him. It was almost quite a lazy thing of, he did okay for Hearts, let's give him a go. And McKinnon, I think, was doing okay. It was a bit negative. Like football, they were playing, the fans weren't happy.
The fans were the big factor in him sort of getting the sack, if you will.
But surely if you're going to take a guy out like that, you want to bring in somebody who plays good football and inspires you. And Csaba Laszlo isn't that.
No, he's definitely not. So, sorry mate, continue.
No, I just think it's a really weird appointment. Like, you get them every so often and it makes you just think, like, where did that come from, you know? I just didn't understand it.
So for me, I think League One, there's one team, I'm probably being biased because I'm sort of from the Fife region, if you guys hadn't guessed that. Raith Rovers, for me, I think they'll be the one to go up to the Championship. I think they were sort of knocking on the door last season. I think they're probably going up. I think, is it Airdrie? Airdrie might be the other team. But certainly I think Raith Rovers should be the favourites to go up there.
Yeah, the only thing with Raith is they bottled it really badly at the end of last season.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see if they bounce back and just kind of hit the ground running and go for it. Because when you look at the other teams there, Dumbarton coming down aren't exactly the strongest team in the world.
No.
It's not like Ayr United that were staying full time. You know, they're still a part-time team, Dumbarton. League One's a tough one to look at and predict anyone. The problem with Airdrie have got, I think they're still struggling for cash a bit.
Are they? Right.
So they've got an okay team there, but the money's not exactly brilliant.
No.
Again, it's a league you look at that pretty much anyone could go on and grab a playoff spot. That's a good thing about the leagues this year, I think. When you look at Scottish football all the way down, it's pretty unpredictable.
So that's exactly my next point in League Two. I can't predict the winner of that one. I think Cowdenbeath will do a lot better. I think they have to. I mean, they've been sort of edging the last couple of seasons, you know, penalty shootout against East Kilbride and then obviously just beating Cove Rangers. I think they'll do better, but to predict the winner for League Two, I can't. Any ideas on teams that will be doing well there, or
I think Clyde are probably the
Clyde?
favourites.
Yeah,
Just because they finished the season on fire when they brought in Danny Lennon, and Goodwill he stayed,
yep,
and he's just different class at that level. I know there's different opinions on him as a person,
yep,
but as a footballer, he's guaranteed 25 goals a season in that
yep.
league at minimum. And I don't know if you know the league that well, but Clyde have added quite a few guys like John Rankin.
John Rankin, yep. Yeah, Dundee
Who
United, was it?
Aye,
Yeah.
yeah. So they've added a couple of really good experienced guys, and they had one or two guys in loan have signed on permanently. So it just seems like they're doing pretty good business, to be honest. And they're a team that probably shouldn't be in League Two when you look
Yep.
at it. Like generally, they're a League One Championship team. So
Well, that's the thing.
Edinburgh City's made a couple of interesting moves as well. I fancy them to not struggle this year, maybe push for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying about Clyde as well. They've kind of been languishing down in League Two for a wee bit, and as you said, they always were kind of higher up the leagues, weren't they? And now it's been a few seasons that they've been down there.
Oh, they totally collapsed because they went Championship and then got relegated again the year after for League One, and they finished ninth, I think, League Two the year
Yep.
after that. So it was kind of like kind of like what Cowdenbeath
Yeah,
did.
but that's true. I just don't think anyone ever sort of consider. It's not kind of the same in some respects. I don't think Cowdenbeath were ever considered a championship team. It was kind of like, they had some great players though at the time. Obviously, they had Kane Hemmings and Greg Stewart. Well, great for the championship at the time. But as a
Yeah.
club, I think I would always sort of rate Clyde a wee bit over Cowdenbeath.
Yeah, I think if you look at it like that, but then at the time, Cowdenbeath were easily a Championship team
Yep.
and doing pretty well, and he just fell apart.
Yeah, with
and disappeared in the league.
Yeah, certainly I think a lot of it was to do again, but sort of more behind the scenes sort of stuff. I don't think Donald Finlay, their chairman, was pumping as much money into them, and I think they're struggling for cash. Even though they survived and stayed in League Two, I think they're still struggling and wanting sort of people to support them. So
Yeah, I've noticed they've been trying to get fans to donate and such like, so they're obviously a bit worried about being down the bottom side again this year.
Yeah. Highland League, I think there's only one winner there, and I actually watched them against Cowdenbeath at Central Park. Cove Rangers, I think they are going to be up there again. Especially, I think they're building a new stadium, if I'm correct in saying.
Yeah, they've just opened it. They played Aberdeen in a friendly. They're the team that are desperate to get them. They should have beat Cowden.
It was an interesting game. Obviously, I think the biggest complaint from the Cove Rangers I think it was either the second or third Cowdenbeath goal was the keeper kind of came out, and one of the Cowden players actually he obstructed him a wee bit, and then I can't remember who it was.
If I remember rightly, it was Jordan Sheehan because he was on loan for
Kelty,
wasn't he?
I'm thinking of the goal scorer, the guy. I can't remember. I can't remember now. It was for some when you sort of think of the top of your head. He basically hit it in the net, and then it all sort of kicked off towards the end. Cove Rangers, obviously, 3 players sent off in a sort of short period of time. They just sort of
they just completely lost.
They lost the plot, and then obviously it was a bit much, but I think from what I saw of them, I think they're certainly at that level, if not better than some League Two teams that I've seen. They played their hearts out, and they were very unlucky that day, to be honest.
I think given another chance, they're not going to miss it this time. They lost the heads. They were winning 2-1. They should have saw it out, and basically that goal was the equaliser, wasn't it? That they were complaining about. I think,
if I remember correctly, I think it was either the second. I don't think it was the winner. Oh no, because the winner I think was the. I see. I'm confusing it now. It was only a couple of months ago. This is my terrible memory that comes into play sometimes, mate. This is what people always say in my playroom is, I've got a terrible memory. This is true. Yeah, it was either the set. I don't think it was the winner because I'm trying to remember. I think the first goal was the like a free kick. I think it was the second goal. I think it was the equaliser. Yeah.
Because I'm sure that basically Hamden completely bottled it and lost the head. So if they just kept the head and kept going, they might well have won that game in the end. But when you look at Highland League, there's a few decent teams in there, but from top to bottom, it's a massive gap.
Yeah,
you've only got Cove Rangers. who else in there's decent? Inverurie are a team that maybe will kick on this year from a couple of things I've seen. Bucky, they won the league the year before, but they fell away again. There's always one that surprises you, but I think especially with the new stadium bounce, they should scooch it, to be honest.
So obviously this is I'm probably a bit more knowledgeable in this league, and you are too. Sorry, Lowland leagues. Who do you think you see the winner? Do you think it'll be Spartans again, or do you think?
I don't. No, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting league, this one, because East Kilbride have made some really, really good signings.
Yeah.
And I think they're the early favourites. But then BSC are kind of catching up a little bit because they've just picked up Adam Strachan.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because obviously that's your esports partnership team. I was very interested to know where you sort of wanted to see them finish, or where you thought they were going to finish.
Do you know, I was a bit worried about them because the end of the season came and it was going a bit quiet and the manager was about to leave. But they managed to keep the manager. So Stephen Swift signed on for another year after saying he was going to move on. So he'd obviously been made a promise or two. Yep. And then they've kept on Stevie Murray, who's just probably the best player in that league. He's brilliant to watch. He's one of these guys that he was never that quick, so he's just a wee magician with the ball, and he'll probably keep playing till he's like late 30s at this point. They've signed up Martin Green as well up front, and Brian Prunty's a new signing coming to play with him, who could probably still do a job in the leagues. So they've made some really interesting pickups in Strachan. It was the other one that sticks out. But East Kilbride, when you look at what they've got up front, Craig Malcolm shouldn't be playing in the Lowland League. He should be in probably League One, to be honest. This is his level. And they also picked up Jamie Longworth from Steny, who was one of League Two's better forward players. So East Kilbride's probably the team to beat. But then Kelty Hearts are probably fancy their chances.
That's what I was going to ask about next, actually, because they obviously, them and I think it was Bonnyrigg, were so close in the east of Scotland. They sort of dominated the league. How well do you think they'll do in the going into the Lowland leagues this season?
It was who was it? It was Lothian Thistle.
Oh, Lothian Thistle. Sorry. Where did Bonnyrigg went? Sorry, yeah. This is where my memory comes into play. They went into.
They won.
Yeah.
They won the East Juniors and have jumped over.
Yeah, that's what
this
it was.
Year.
Yeah.
So they're probably favourites in that league anyway. But Kelty's just they're a club in the up. Everything about them's right, especially off the field as well. They're actually really impressive for a club at that level. They're just, everything they seem to do is with a view to becoming a proper SPFL team. And I think when they get there, they're going to stay there and keep moving. They're probably in a better position than Cowdenbeath are, to be honest, overall. They've got their own stadium, and it's pretty modern. They're just about to build a brand new grandstand on one side yet. There's money going into the club. They've got a really settled squad and a decent gaffer as well. They've not actually made that many changes to the squad this year, as you'll know, because obviously you're giving us a hand with it for FM.
Yep.
They're just really well placed to. I think there's going to be basically a top 5 and then the rest in the Lowland. So you have the same top 4. It'll be East Kilbride, East Stirling, Spartans, and BSC, and throw Kelty into that mix anywhere. And then behind that, it's going to just be kind of the rest, basically, that's going to be following behind. But it's a really exciting league.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be going to a few Kelty Hearts games. Obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. I would have been at the game tomorrow against Cowdenbeath. I've got a friendly against Cowdenbeath tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm working, so I'm going to miss it. But they have announced today that they're going to be playing at a Celtic 11 on the 17th at Central Park. So I think that'll be a really good challenge for them to see where they go. Obviously, they're still well behind in terms of SPL, but Tam Courts, the manager, he's obviously doing all the right things. He's making all the right connections, and as you said, obviously, in terms of what they're doing behind the scenes, I think that's really pushing the club forward, and I think they really want to be that club, as you said, and I do believe they will get there. It's just a matter of time, and how long it's going to take them.
Yeah. And then they've done it very, very cleverly overall, because they've jumped a year earlier than the rest of the junior teams. Because of that, even though they had a massive challenge against Lothian Thistle, Hutchie Vale, they're a pretty clutch team. When it comes down to it, they don't panic and they get the result they needed, because they needed to win that last game of the season to actually get into the playoffs. And I went to that game. It was a massive crowd. Kind of gives you an idea what they could achieve, because there was thousands there. And I was they were dead professional, didn't panic, did their job. You can tell they're used to winning, and that's going to be a big thing this coming year.
The mentality,
as well. Like, they've got a great mentality. They're a proper team. They're just solid as well. And I fancy them to maybe come kind of top three. Like, the top four will get into the Iron Brew Cup, so that's their main aim, I'd imagine. And then if they can push on from there, then brilliant.
So the last thing, I've probably went well over 20 minutes to what we expected, mate. But no, it's been amazing speaking to you. But that's the last thing I'm going to cover. Pretty much puts it all together. The changes to league football. The death of the juniors up until today, when it announced that they're actually going to be introducing juniors to the east of Scotland and stuff like that. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
that's an interesting
one. Basically, you need to take that with a pinch of salt, because the guy Tom Johnson, who's kind of the main junior spokesman, he's made a few promises over the last 12 months, and they've all been kind of proven to be a bit false. I'm pretty sceptical of him, but if it is legit, then brilliant, because I think what happened last year was he made a promise, because he was worried about these East of Scotland teams joining the East of Scotland League from the juniors, and it didn't work, and loads of them jumped. So you're left with a pretty much a shell of what the juniors used to be there in the East. And there's no teams whatsoever in the Edinburgh area in the juniors now, because they've all jumped.
Well,
so it's a massive change.
It's kind of similar to obviously the Fife region as well, because you've got like the most sort of high profile ones were obviously Kelty Hearts, Hill of Beef. I wouldn't add sort of Crossgates Primrose into that sort of thing, or Lochgelly Albert, but certainly Kelty Hearts and Hill of Beef were the two main ones over here, and then obviously Edinburgh way you've got the likes of Linlithgow Rose, which are up there as well. I think because they're all jumping, that's pretty much what I thought was going to be pretty much the death of the juniors. It's great for the East of Scotland League, but what's going to happen with junior football? You know what I mean?
It's like, I think basically it's been a death of the East juniors.
Yeah.
The juniors are always going to continue on, but it's going to become more like amateur football eventually. And with the West now, the West is their kind of crown jewel, because that's the strongest side. It always has been. The North has kind of always been a bit amateur football anyway. And now the East is pretty much on the same level as the North. So when you look at the West, and you've got like Auchinleck, and I know they were just recently in there, but Clydebank, and you've got all these kind of historic teams, Arthurlie and the likes.
Well, most of them, in terms of when they win most of, if I believe, the Junior Cup, most of them the winners come from the West. If I think.
Yeah, it's kind of Ayrshire's the strongest area for it, definitely. But they were in a situation kind of this summer where, if they don't do something this year, the same thing's going to happen in the West of Scotland as it just happened to the East this summer. Because all these clubs are now thinking, we're getting left behind. These clubs are now all going for their licence so they can get Scottish Cup entry every year. There's money there for them. They've got their youth teams into that's the other thing that people don't realise, I think, that a lot of the junior clubs have jumped because you get under 20 teams in the Lowland and East of Scotland, and that's got a massive uptake. There's now two different leagues there this year, and that gives them a chance to get young boys to keep them with the junior club rather than just losing them. So it's quite interesting the way it's all happening. But if it does happen, the way the West Juniors, I don't know if you know or not, have just restructured this year, and interestingly enough, they've called it Premiership, Championship, League 1 and League 2, and it's the whole region. So it could pretty much just kind of copy and paste it straight into the pyramid if they're willing to come over.
Well, that was going to be my next thing, my next and final thing, because I'll let you away by this. I knew this was going to go on longer than it should have, because it's just two guys obviously talking about Scottish football, and there's a lot to talk about. Do we need an overhaul of the top tiers going into the lower tiers, like more teams in League 2, League 1, Championship, Premiership? Do you think we need...
I don't
Do you think?
I don't think we need an overhaul straight away. But what we do need to do is that bottom space in League Two, that needs to be automatic
Yep.
relegation, and that will happen eventually. I think ultimately what's going to happen is the same way the juniors are set up. I think we'll end up with a Highland League and a West and an East Lowland
Yep.
League. So it'll be 3 regions rather than the 2, because the Lowland's too strong now with all these junior teams coming over. And I think they're basically waiting because you've got to be licensed at those levels. As soon as there's enough clubs there that are strong enough and are licensed, they'll probably begin to look at making that a 3 region tier. And from there, you'd either get playoffs the same way as they are up the leagues with all the 3 champions in the bottom spot, or you make the bottom spot go down automatically and work it from there. So I can't see them changing the SPFL anytime soon in terms of the 10-team leagues. I think that's here to stay for a wee while
Yeah.
yet.
I always thought that they, again, I don't think they will. I'm in the same sort of respect as you, but I really hope they do in the future, because for me, obviously the SPL, their money maker is the Old Firm. So they're not going to take away any Old Firm games because that's their money maker. Sorry, but for me, if I supported a lower league team, why would I want to see the same teams 3-4 times a season? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I would rather have a 16 or a 20 team league, and we would play a home and away game. I know that there's a lot of issues with travel. A lot of people don't like to sort of travel too far, like Highland, Lowland. That's why we separate into sections with the West and the East and the Highland and the Lowlands.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, as a football fan, I think it would be more competitive, trying to get the word here, competitive and more exciting if there was bigger leagues, 10 teams in a league. I mean, we've got 12 in the SPL. I'm not sure why they couldn't raise at least the Championship and League 1 and League 2 to 12 teams rather than,
Yeah, I do agree with you, because one of the kind of fantasy databases I did this year was I made 14 team leagues, because, well, especially when you look at the SPFL, the Premiership, first of all, if you put 2 extra teams in there, you can have a fair split. First of all, you get the same amount of home and away games. So I kind of experimented with that, and it made it a lot more interesting, because it all works out. You basically get 3 leagues of 14.
Yeah.
And if I remember rightly, that works out pretty perfectly. And then you've got an excuse for making the bottom spot automatic relegation at the bottom league and having another playoff spot, because it's a bigger league basically. And I think it'd make it more exciting down the leagues if you had that split,
Exactly.
especially with the playoffs. But that would be my dream scenario anyway, like 14 team leagues with splits, and it would be just Premiership, Championship, League One.
It's like what we were discussing earlier. I don't think from the bottom SPL teams, there's not much difference between some of the higher teams in the Championship. But they could easily make a mark in the SPL. A couple of teams, it could, as we discussed earlier, there's a few teams that could be up there. Dundee United, Cali, Ross County, Partick Thistle. Falkirk as well, as you said. Even Dunfermline, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a few teams that you see it in the Betfred Cup. I think was it last season Dunfermline beat Hearts. In the Betfred.
Aye, yeah, and you had Ayr United beat Kilmarnock, and there was a few results.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think hopefully in the future we do have. I think you've sort of solved the Scottish football problems with 14 team leagues. I think that's the answer, really. I mean, more. It would make it more competitive, and it would make it less. Again, I don't think they'll do it with the SPL simply because they rely on that 3 or 4 times a season old firm games plus in the cup and plus.
Yeah.
But certainly lower in the leagues. I mean, I don't think they've got any reason why they couldn't add more teams there.
Well, I mean, the other thing, the reason I did it was if you had 14 teams, you wouldn't have any less games. And that's the other excuse that always comes up, saying, 16 teams, you'd only get 30 league games. That's going to lose us money. But if you had the 14 teams with a split, and the other thing I think that we've done really well was the playoffs. I think our playoffs are brilliant. Just for excitement at the end of the season, because you've got a team that's scrapping to save themselves, along with these teams trying to get promotion. I think it just makes it so much more exciting. But I think the Premiership playoff needs to follow the other ones. So you need to have the semi-finals and finals, not this kind of fourth place, third place,
Yeah.
second, then that team goes. It's just a bit ridiculous, to be honest. So they need to put that semi-finals and final is the only thing. But I love the way the playoffs work with the ninth place team and second, third, and fourth in the league below. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy that too. And we have surprises as well. Like I wasn't expecting to, Ross County. I think did Ross County finish last. I didn't expect Partick to my memory again, mate. I'm seriously I didn't expect Partick to go down and lose to not St Mirren, Livingston, and even as a Scottish football fan, that was brilliant watching Livingston's wee sort of run, and it was hilarious when they played Dundee United, and then Willow Flood obviously had that reaction. So it makes you kind of, if there's no football sort of on at the time, you tend to watch, like for example, I went to the the Cowdenbeath Cove Rangers game. I mean, I think you're right. I think the playoffs actually add something different where people, even people that don't necessarily support the team, they'll go because it's football's on that day. You know what I mean?
You can't beat a high stakes game at the end of the season. Like that game I mentioned with the Kelty, Lothian Thistle, Hutchie Vale, and you had for a team that maybe, I think overall they do tend to get a few hundred, but it was queued out the door, and it was a brilliant atmosphere, and it was all on the line, and it was just brilliant because of that, The other playoffs, I went to the Lowland playoff with Spartans and Cove in Edinburgh. That was more of a damp squib because Cove had horsed them in the first leg. But it's still a game with loads on the line, so that's what we need, I think, especially as you go down the levels, and just to keep the excitement going.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Scottish football to me should be. Obviously, we're not really... I think... I never actually asked you. I probably should ask you at the beginning. Do you actually support a club, or are you sort of just a ground hopper sort of...
I guess I'd say BSC now, to be honest with you. I'm more of a kind of ground hopper / kind of float around different lower league games. At one point, I just get really, really bored with football up the ladder because it was kind of
non-competitive and.
To give you a wee bit of background, funnily enough, old man's a Rangers fan. So, but I got grown up going to Clyde games because he wanted to give me a kind of a smaller team to follow. So it was Clyde and Airdrie were the two options, and that was back when Airdrie had a wee bit of bother with people dressing up in KKK outfits.
Oh God!
So Clyde was the place we went. So I kind of grew up watching Clyde, and that was back when they were really pushing, kind of in between the first division and the Premier. They never quite got to Premier. Like Inverness Cali beat them that year, when they almost did it. But I just went right off kind of football in the top two tiers because it's not worth the money. I don't think, and it's got to the point where a lot of clubs have forgot about. I know it sounds a bit cliched, but the fans is like that's your lifeblood. It's the most important thing. And if you're putting up pretty turgid stuff and you're trying to charge, especially in the Premier, like 20 odd quid to watch Partick Thistle, Ross County hoofball. I know maybe that's unfair to Partick Thistle because they did try to play a bit of football, but I see when you go to a Lowland League game or a Highland League game and it's a £5 on the door, £6 max, you get actually really good quality. It's a lot better than you'd think, and you get a bit of banter because you can just walk about, chat away to folk. It's great. I really like it.
That's exactly why the juniors was so magic. If you went to the juniors, obviously it's probably changed now, but the junior football, it was great. You got your sort of older guys that would go and they would just be hilarious, and the banter, and it was just a really good atmosphere. And not always. I mean, I remember going to a game against Pollock when I can't remember what competition it was. I went with Hillabeef, the Hawes, and we went to Pollock, and let's just put it that way, I'm glad we lost that day. It was terrifying, to be honest. Folk hanging out the sort of tenements and whatnot, because the ground is actually, like, from what I remember, the ground was actually like the back of like almost like a shop sort of area, and it is I had like flats all around it and stuff like that. It was very very intimidating.
It's like proper Greater Glasgow, is it? Like
yeah. So
it's one of those grounds that you know you're in the area.
me and my stepdad were like, let's just not cheer them on too much. I think
But no, that's the other thing with the juniors. They're not going to lose that. Even the clubs that have moved into the pyramid, just because they're senior clubs now, it's still the same
yeah.
folk and it's still the same grounds. Well, I went to a couple of Camelin games last year because I was pretty interested in them. They were one of the first ones that said they were going to jump.
I've actually been to Camelin as well.
It's a cracking wee ground.
Yeah,
It's proper old school, but it's still going to be the same ground and the same experience for folk. But the kind of nice thing with that, I don't know if you're ever on Pine Bovril, the kind of main Scottish football forum. But when you read about their fans, they're quite excited about it now because they're getting to see all these new places, and it's basically something different. You know, it's fresh, and as soon as we get a proper pyramid going, it'll be like that every year because our teams will crop up and you'll be like places you've never been.
That's the excitement.
That's what you need again at the lower levels. It's just something different every year.
You know, when you said your old man was a Rangers fan, I thought you were actually going to say something along the lines. Well, I started my love for the lower league when Rangers got relegated. I thought you were going to say something like that. I'm like, that's
no, not quite.
Anyway,
no. Funnily enough, that was one of the things that stopped them going for a bit when they went into. Was it League Two at that point?
I think it was. I think it was the
division?
third division. I think it changed when they went up to. I think it changed when they went up to League. Well, it would have been the second division. Well, League One. I think it was only like a year in, and then it changed, if I remember correctly.
Because I was at one of the first games they had when they were in, let's just call it League Two. Was away at Peterhead, and I had a pal of mine. There was the linesman. He'd managed to kind of get his first call up to that level, and he'd get absolutely filthy dogs abuse. It was just. It was absolutely hilarious, like just bizarre seeing such big crowds at those grounds, you know. But funnily enough, actually, I think that's a lot of people said, "Oh, it's bad for Scottish football," but I think it actually helped.
Yeah. In my opinion, I'm probably biased, but it definitely did. I mean, obviously you saw smaller teams advertised because of Rangers, and then obviously you got a lot of the SPL teams losing out on money because Rangers weren't in the league. You know, even Celtic's attendances dropped when Rangers went out of the league. I know they try and deny that, but it's facts.
Oh, it's
it's true. You know, so I mean, I think we need a strong. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Rangers fan. I think we do need a more even if it was Aberdeen or Hibs, we need a more competitive league at the top tier. I think Celtic are very strong in terms of. It's not just the players that they have. It's not just the money they have. They have I think we discussed it earlier a wee bit, but like a mentality. They've got the winning mentality now. They're going for 8 in a row. Their backroom staff, in terms of compared to other teams, is like almost at. I don't want to say at English Premiership level, but maybe is. You know.
It pretty much is, because you look at Rodgers. Rodgers could easily get a job in the Premier League down south. He's easily the best manager in Scotland, and he's probably better than a lot of managers that are sitting in English Premier League offices right now.
And
so he will get another chance at some point, and that's probably where that'll be a massive choice for Celtic who to replace him with, and that'll be basically the door open for Rangers to try and catch up again. Because I think as long as Rodgers is there and there's a financial gulf, I think it's going to be really tough for them to get back on that level.
Definitely. Anyway, mate, I better leave you to it. I mean, I don't know how long this went on for, but it's been great chatting with you. It's great, absolutely amazing chatting with you.
Thanks for having me on, mate. I've really enjoyed it.
I have as well, mate. I probably I just can't believe it's so late. The time's flew by. I think we covered everything that I wanted to. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Something a wee bit different for the channel. I want to personally thank Mozza for doing this. We did originally plan it to be a wee bit shorter, but we had such a great time chatting. It was really good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. I will leave all the links to Mozza's content in the description. I'll probably timestamp the videos as well, probably in the comment section, just so you guys know what sort of things we're talking about. I really enjoyed it. As I say, I'm still sort of new to the whole recording process. You probably noticed that I sort of picked up Mozza's mic. Nothing to do with him. That was my fault. Rookie mistake, obviously. It's the first time I done this. Anyone that sort of wants to chat about anything, yeah, I'm up for doing this again. Mozza, I think you know that I will hopefully reach out to you again in the future as well. But yeah, that's the content for today, guys. As I said, it's been brilliant. I will see you again soon.